Let's just jump into that. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of PP Princess? Like, what did it start at the beginning and to what it is today?
I mean, wow, that's a big question. When my parents first bought that piece of land, it was actually PP Charlie before, and the piece of land next to PP Charlie was already kind of like a small bungalow hotel, and then they bought that and then turned that into PP Princess. So when they first started off, it was two small resorts next to each other. It was PP Charlie and then PP Princess. And then it was two different types of hotels back then. PP Charlie was smaller bungalows. I mean, they were so cute. They had like coconut trees like going through some of the bungalows because it used to be a coconut plantation. And they kind of like tried to avoid cutting the coconut trees down, built bungalows around it. It was very nice. And then PP Princess was aimed to be something a little bit more elevated. They built like bigger bungalows on the beach, bigger reception. They had like a dive shop and more restaurants in it. So
now, to visualize that, like bungalows, are you talking like bamboo hut bungalows? Were they more concrete based? Like
they were wooden bungalows.
And does any of that exist from that past time, or has it always been taken down and renovated?
It was actually the tsunami that took it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that is a touchy subject for most people. Now, were you there at that time? Are you able to talk about that?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we were. So like I grew up, obviously on PP, going to school in Phuket. Every school holiday, my parents would take me back. Like our actual house was on PP Island. And when I was younger, when I first started off Thai school, like I said, we didn't even have a house in Phuket. It was like a room above the main office. And then on the weekends, I would go back home, where PP was, and our like wooden house there. And so we like lived there most of the time. And then the tsunami happened in 2006.
Is it 2004?
Oh, 2004. Sorry.
Don't worry. 2000, because it's it's like this. It wasn't it like Christmas?
Yeah, it was Christmas. So yeah, because of that, like I said, every school holiday I was there. So every Christmas since I could remember, like the beginning of time, I was on PP. And this one year, this is the year of the tsunami, my parents had like a university reunion in Bangkok. She was actually like part of an activist movement in Bangkok back in the day. And they asked her to be the MC of that event. So she took our whole family over for Christmas. We missed out. The first Christmas that we missed out on PP was that event, and that's why we all survived.
Wow.
And
yeah, I mean,
amazing.
I don't know what type of what's sensitive in that sense, but like, I mean, we've seen the movies, we've seen a few clips. Like, really, how devastating was the tsunami? Like, did it take out all the hotels, all the residents? Like, now there are the places up in the mountains and the hills. Like, what actually survived there? Was it completely wiped out?
I mean, you have to imagine back in the day, everything was built wooden. Like our bungalows were wooden. Most of the houses in town were like fishermen houses, and so they were all wooden. It was kind of like that feel as well that back in the day it was kind of like easier to build wooden houses, wooden buildings. So the only things that survived the tsunami were a few buildings that were made out of concrete. Everything else was pretty wiped. Yeah,
completely wiped. And you said you also had a home on PP.
Yeah,
like this wiped out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people know where PP Princess is, but like it's right on the beachfront on Lodalam Bay. I mean, pretty much like bang in the middle. So we were actually one of the places that got the most devastation. Out of the whole thing. And at the time, there was only 2 or 3 other resorts on the same side as us. I mean, they got it pretty bad as well. One of them was, even though they were made out of concrete, it was it was hardcore.